Welcome to Tibet This Week, where we bring you a weekly news edition on His Holiness the Dalai Lama, Tibet, and the Central Tibetan Administration. These are the headlines. His Holiness the Dalai Lama and Speaker extend greetings to His Holiness Pope Leo XIV. His Holiness the Dalai Lama and CTA congratulate Friedrich Merz, German Chancellor. Mother of late Hungkar Rinpoche passes away from grief. Sikyong concludes US tour, heads to Canada to advance Tibet advocacy. European Parliament passes resolution strongly opposes China's interference in the succession of His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama. 7th Tenzin Gyatso science scholars graduate to take leading roles in monastic science education programs. Director of Belgian firm Prolog consultant visits Health Department. Office of Tibet, Nepal joins Europe Day 2025 celebration. His Holiness the Dalai Lama and Speaker of Tibetan Parliament in Exile, Khenpo Nam Tempe, congratulated His Holiness Pope Leo XIV on becoming the new leader of Roman Catholic Church. In separate letters addressed to the Pope Leo XIV, His Holiness and the Speaker applauded the new Pope's unwavering commitment to compassion, justice, and hoped that his message of mercy and moral courage will mold the world into a more harmonious and peaceful place. His Holiness the Dalai Lama, Speaker Khenpo Nam Tempe, and Sikyong Pembasring also extended their warm congratulations to Friedrich Merz on his election as the Chancellor of Germany. Kasa Dugartoma, aged 85, the mother of late Hungkar Rinpoche, reportedly passed away last Tuesday in Golok, Amdo, following a prolonged illness caused and exacerbated by distressing news of her son's death under suspicious circumstances. The news of her passing away surfaced only last Sunday due to heightened restrictions on the flow of information from inside Tibet. Her passing marks another tragic chapter in unfolding aftermath of Rinpoche's suspicious death under Chinese custody in Vietnam late March. After a series of high-level meetings in the US, Sikyong Pembasring of the Central Tibetan Administration left for Canada, where he met James Maloney, Canadian Member of Parliament, Arif Virani, Member of Parliament, and Karim Bardisi. Advancing his Tibet advocacy in the United States, Sikyong held several substantive meetings, including a meeting with 8 researchers and experts on Asia, with a particular focus on China at the Brookings Institute, a renowned Washington-based think tank. At the Capitol Hill, Sikyong held separate meetings with Representative Mike Lawyer, Representative Jamie Ruskin, Representative Ami Bera, Representative Joey Wilson, and with staff members of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee. Sikyong also engaged in substantive exchange with Elliot Abrams, a senior figure in American foreign policy at the Council on Foreign Relations in Washington, D.C. In these meetings, Sikyong highlighted the need to see Sino-Tibet conflict as a strategic element that align closely with U.S. interest in countering China, his efforts to garner bipartisan support for a resolution in honor of His Holiness the Dalai Lama's upcoming 90th birthday, presented an overview of funding requirements for various programs under the Central Tibetan Administration, highlighted the importance of Radio Free Asia and Voice of America as vital sources of information for Tibetans inside Tibet, amongst many other pressing issues. Concluding all his engagements in the U.S. capital, Sikyong met with Tibetan youth in Amherst to educate them on the geopolitical importance of the Tibetan Plateau, and then had separate meetings with Tibetan community in Amherst and Ithaca. On Thursday last week, the European Parliament adopted a resolution condemning China's systematic violations of religious freedom in Tibet. The resolution strongly opposes the Chinese government's ongoing interference in the selection of Tibetan Buddhist spiritual leaders, particularly denounces Beijing's attempts to assert control over the reincarnation and succession of His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama, called for an independent international investigation into the suspicious death of Tugu Hungkar Doji, accountability for those responsible, and to return his remains to his family and religious community. The Parliament further urged the EU and its member states to raise these concerns on all diplomatic engagements with China, Vietnam, and to advocate for the release of the pensioned Lama. Tabled jointly by 5 major political groups in the European Parliament, the resolution was adopted with an overwhelming majority of 478 votes in favour, 30 against, and 41 abstentions. The motion took place during European Parliament's plenary in Strasbourg, held from May 5 to 8 this year. Rigzing Gekhang of the Office of Tibet, Brussels, expressing her gratitude for this resolution, noted that their steadfast defense of human rights and religious freedom gives hope to Tibetans who continue to face repression. On Monday this week, a total of 6 monks and nuns, the 7th cohort of the Tenzin Gyatso Science Scholar Program, were honored at the 108th commencement ceremony of Emory University in Atlanta, Georgia. The monks and nuns expressed their gratitude to the historic partnership between His Holiness the Dalai Lama and the Emory University that allowed them the opportunity to enroll in this 2-year science education program at Emory.
This program, as it is the exchange program, so it is truly an exchange program in a sense that I was not only sharing with others, but also I was learning a lot, bringing these two disciplines together and making a bridge. So now I also feel a sense of responsibility to go back to the monastery and become a science teacher. I've been learning from my professors and teachers, great teachers, my peer mentors. I've been learning from them, and I think I have got all the strategies, tools to use them in the monastery and teach science to the fellow monks. I feel truly grateful about all of these.
Through these 2 years of program, I engaged in study such as biology, physics, and psychology. This deepened my understanding of science knowledge. It not only broadened my academic education, but also strengthened my appreciation for the connection between science and Buddhist philosophy. I'm first known from my nunnery to get this opportunity to study at Emory. Now I'm going back to India with heart full of gratitude, new knowledge to share, and hope to contribute to His Holiness the Dalai Lama's vision to bridge the two worlds, ancient knowledge of Buddhism and science.
The Tenzin Gyatso Science Scholars Program is a remarkable endeavor designed to develop and nurture indigenous Tibetan monastic science teachers by providing additional college-level science education at Emory University. Upon the completion of their residency program, the monastics returned to their institutions to take up active and leading roles in the science education programs. The purpose of this program is to ensure the long-term sustainability of science education within Tibetan monasteries and nunneries in India. Since the inception of the program in 2010, 7 cohorts of 43 scholars had completed the program. The Tenzin Gyatso Scholars Program is one of the core components of Emory Tibet Science Initiative that began in 2006 when His Holiness the Dalai Lama invited Emory University to collaborate with the Library of Tibetan Works and Archives. This program, named after His Holiness the Dalai Lama, is made possible by significant support from the Dalai Lama Foundation and Emory University. Last Tuesday, Michel-André Van Bruyn, Director of Prolog Consultant in Belgium, a firm specializing in evaluation, visited the Department of Health, CTA. He was accompanied by Hungkar, Secretary of the Office of Tibet, London. The purpose of the visit was to discuss the overall effectiveness, impact, sustainability of the Tibet House Trust program and provide guidance on similar projects in the future. The meeting was attended by Secretary Chamba Phunso, Additional Secretary Digi Doga, the 3 zonal section heads, the public health specialist, SART THD coordinator, and Tibetan Torture Survivor Program beneficiaries. Last Thursday, Ganzi, Secretary of the Office of Tibet, Nepal, participated in the Europe Day 2025 celebrations organized by the delegation of the European Union to Nepal. The event was graced by Honorable Ram Sahaya Yadav, Vice President of Nepal, as his chief guest, Ambassador Veronique Lorenzo, head of the delegation of European Union to Nepal, as a special guest of honor. That is all for this week's edition of Tibet This Week. See you next time.